bright college days. How pleasant to stroll through the grounds of the old alma mater, watching all the pointy-headed intellectuals studying on the grass. Things were a little rougher in my day.
He was sitting up there for more than an hour, way up there on a Texas tower, shooting from the 27th floor. He didn't choke or slash or slit them, not our Charles Joseph Whitman. He won't be an architect no more. Got up that morning, calm and cool. He picked up his guns and walked to school. All the while he smiled so sweetly, then he blew their minds completely. They'd never seen an Eagle Scout so cruel. Won't you think of the shame and degradation, all the school's administration?
It's been a long time since anyone's been allowed up there, and there's a very good reason for it. I remember when old Charlie took his old deer rifle and hit that first student right between the eyes. As it turned out, it was just a warning shot.
There was a rumor about a tumor nestled at the base of his brain. He was sitting up there with his .36 Magnum, laughing wildly as he bagged them. Who are we to say the boy's insane?
Yep, right here's where it happened. August 2nd, 1966. When Charles Joseph Whitman, a fellow student of mine, created a little disturbance on the campus. He climbed up here on the tower and shot over 40 people. Boy probably needed a little checkup from the neck up, actually. But he had everybody scurrying around and hitting the decks all down there. They were hiding behind the statues there on campus and dodging behind the hedges, which was fairly ludicrous because from up here with a scope rifle for a Marine sharpshooter like Charlie, really wasn't too difficult for him. And Charlie was just picking them off right and left. And way over there on the street, rednecks were stopping in their pickup trucks when they saw what was happening, and they take their guns out of the gun racks and they were firing back up here with their deer rifles. And there was quite a bit, a surprisingly large amount of return fire, because almost everybody in Texas has a pickup truck and a deer rifle. So Charlie had a lot to contend with, but still he lasted for over an hour, partly because he would very cleverly duck behind this ledge. And you can see some of the bullet holes right up there. There's a couple of them. This little slit here, and you can see the campus very well through here. And Charlie had a scope rifle and was firing through here where they couldn't see him, much in the manner of the defenders of the Alamo, actually. The day, of course, along with Pearl Harbor, lives as a day of infamy in the state of Texas.
Now Charlie was awful disappointed, else he thought he was anointed to do a deed so low down and so mean. Students looked up from the classes, had to stop and scratch their asses. Who'd believe he'd once been a Marine? Now Charlie made the honor roll with ease. Most all of his grades was A's and B's. A real rip-snorting, trigger-squeezer, Charlie proved a big crowd pleaser, though he had been known to make a couple C's. Some were dying, some were weeping, some were studying, some were sleeping, some were shouting, Texas #1. Some were running, some were falling, some were screaming, some were bawling. Some thought the revolution had begun. The doctors tore his poor brain down, but not a snitch of illness could be found. Most folks couldn't figure just why he did it. Them that could would not admit it. There's still a lot of Eagle Scouts around. There was a rumor about a tumor nestled at the base of his brain. He was sitting up there with his 36 Magnum, laughing wildly as he bagged up. Who are we to say the boy's insane? Everybody in America now. There was a rumor about a tumor, it's nice, nestled at the base of his brain. He was sitting up there with his 36 Magnum, laughing wildly as he bagged up. Who are we to say the boy's in? Who are we to say the boy's in? Who are we to say the boy's insane?